Hello, I'm High Heel Knight. Welcome to my channel. This is my movie review of Harriet. It's a 2019 biopic about the legendary woman Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was born into slavery, and when she became an adult, she managed to escape and make her way to north to her freedom. But unlike most runaway slaves, she went back to the south to free more slaves and kept going back and freeing more, eventually becoming a cornerstone of the movement known as the Underground Railroad, and later in life becoming a major pioneer in the abolitionist movement as well as women's suffrage. So in this review, I'm going to talk about a couple things I liked about the movie, a couple things I didn't like about the movie, and give my verdict at the end. But before I start, I have to give a bit of information. First of all, I was looking forward to this movie not only because it's about Harriet Tubman, but my siblings and I went to Harriet Tubman Elementary School in Newark, New Jersey, so I have a little extra special attachment to the name Harriet Tubman. And second thing, even though I attended Harriet Tubman School, I am no historian about Harriet Tubman's life. I am no historian about the abolitionist movement. I'm certainly no historian about the Underground Railroad. So I cannot speak to how much of the movie is based on real events and historical fact versus how much was just made for the movie, whimsical embellishments, altering of facts and things like that. I just had to take the movie as is and judge it as is. So one of the things I like is that romance is not a focal point of the movie. Harriet Tubman was married, which is not a spoiler that you can easily go and check out information on her life. But, even though relationships are part of her life, it's not an essential cornerstone of the story. So I appreciated that. Like, there's a lot more going on with her life right now, so she don't need to worry about, relationships or things like that. So I really appreciate that romance, while part of the story was not a focal point of the story. And another thing I liked was how the slave owners were presented, especially the family that Harriet Tubman escaped from. In this day and age, it's very important to show our villains have a little bit more depth than being bad guys. So I appreciate that they show how slavery is much more about economics and social status than just wanting to own people and be evil. We were introduced to a bounty hunter who he's just all about the money. It's just a big job opportunity to him, even though he's doing something that's clearly violent and destructive. I even enjoyed the responsible use of the N-word. And you see violence and mistreatment of black folks. And it's so interesting, there are folks in the audience going, when the N-word was used or some type of atrocity was happening to black folks. And I kept thinking, guys, this is the PG way of showing this depiction on film, okay? Trust me, it was much harsher and much worse in real life. So I just found it interesting that they were like taking a gas about this stuff, and that's just like as watered down as you could possibly do it on film. So I appreciated all that. On the negatives, I would have liked to see a little bit more of how the Underground Railroad works. Like, granted, the movie's about Harriet Tubman and it should focus on her, but still, you're introduced to a person named William Still, and he comes off as more as a person who wants to write about slavery and escaping slavery as opposed to really helping and contributing to it, even though he's a major part of the Underground Railroad. And like in the trailer, you see Frederick Douglass, and you're thinking, okay, whoa, Frederick Douglass is going to be a movie. I can't wait to see the scene with Frederick Douglass. Whatever you saw in the trailer, that's pretty much it. It's the glorified cameo for Frederick Douglass. So I would have liked to see just a little bit more how, like, the important people of the Underground Railroad, how the system works, who in connection to where, and things like that, as opposed to saying, well, she helped move slaves back and forth. So that was a little bit frustrating on my part. And another thing I did like was at the end, Harriet Tubman gives this bit of an inspirational speech to a certain person, and it's a nice speech, but it feels like a movie speech, a great way to end the film as opposed to something that this person would do and say at this moment. Again, I'm not a historian about Harriet Tubman, so maybe she did say something like this when she encountered this person, but to me, like, what I've seen of the character up to that point, it doesn't feel like she would do this at that moment. It feels very much like a movie moment instead of something that really would happen with her either historically or with the character we've established in this film. So as far as my verdict, I enjoyed this movie very much. It's very interesting. It's very exciting. The performances are wonderful. The costume is wonderful. The setting is wonderful. The villains are presented very well. And like I said, other than just not showing like the nuts and bolts of really how this amazing system, the Underground Railroad works, and that weird speech at the end that sort of took me out of the movie, this is nearly a perfect film. So with that in mind, I give Harriet a firm A grade. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Be sure to share whatever comments you like in the comment section. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, or dislike, share, and subscribe. Once again, I'm High Heel Knight. Thank you for watching, and remember, find inspiration everywhere.